All right. Yeah, looking forward to getting back on the field against Louisiana Tech. Had a good bye week. Had some practices where we were able to get some young guys on the field and get them some reps, and then had some other practices where we were able to get a little bit of a jump start on Louisiana Tech. So, in general, I thought it was a good week, and looking forward to this one. Questions?
How much of the week was, or the 2 weeks, was for reflecting? How much was for recruiting? How much was for getting guys reps who don't normally get them?
Yeah, well, I think we've done a pretty good job of reflecting all the way through the year and doing some self-scout and things like that. We're still actually doing a little bit of that right now. So obviously that was part of it. And we were able to get, I think instead of maybe self-scout so much, it was more about getting the younger guys in the programs works in our schemes, that maybe they've been only on our scout teams and things like that, being able to have them work directly with the schemes and that sort of deal. So that was big. Recruiting, we had a bunch of guys out recruiting. Some coaches went out, were out, left on Wednesday, and so they were out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Other coaches were just out Thursday and Friday, and then we had a couple that were just out Friday. So
was that this week or last week?
This past week. So every coach, including myself, was out on the road on Friday. So that was good. It was nice because we were able to get into some high schools and some places that we just haven't been able to be in person really yet at all. So that was great, and it's always nice to be able to see things live and in person. It's a much better eval than even on the tape, because you can see how they act, how they respond to adversity, and things that you just can't see on tape.
Ricky, what are your impressions of La Tech, especially their quarterback and I think the wide receiver Smoke, I think is his nickname?
Yeah. The quarterback's obviously a very experienced player. I remember him from recruiting him a little bit in high school, and then he started Oklahoma, then he went to West Virginia, and now here. So he's had a lot of experiences. We're gonna he's seen probably every coverage under the sun now at this point, and those sort of things. So, and then the wideout is a good player. He's very, very quick, but he's a good wide receiver. I mean, sometimes those quick guys are just quick guys, and he's a good wideout. He has route definition. He knows how to set guys up and things like that. So he's a very good player.
Coach, after watching the Western Kentucky film, what did you like and what did you not like?
Yeah, after watching that tape, obviously I didn't like how we started. We dug ourselves a hole. That's been a theme in a couple games this year that's unfortunately hurt us. The turnovers were a major factor. We knew the middle eight, the last four of the first half and first four of the second half was going to be critical. And we had a nice drive going that was going to help us be able to kind of, win that part of the game. And then we turned it over, and then they were able to get a score, and that was that I thought that was a big point in the game right there. So that was film obviously that we didn't like. We left way too many plays out on the field on both sides. Just with we got to make sure that we're more detailed and things like that. There was obviously some times, even on some plays we were making. There's it's funny, sometimes you think, okay, you made the play, like, you must just give him a plus and move on. It's like, no, sometimes guy makes a play and there's still a lot left to coach on that play because of how it was made and things like that. So there was definitely some of that. So we've just got to make sure that we continue to be more detailed. I did like how we pushed the ball down the field on offense. I did like how we were able we continue to be able to stop explosive plays on defense for the most part. We're below 10%, which is very high up there in the national standings. But we've got to make sure that we stop hurting ourselves on pre-snap penalties, especially on third down, which has been a theme that we've got to stop.
Ricky, any thoughts on the potential change in conference affiliation, or is that something you just have to tune out at this point?
Yeah, it's I have the utmost confidence in Dr. Seelig and President Hemphill that they've got a great plan and they're going to execute it. And I mean, I'm here to coach football, and you know, no matter who the opponent is, conference, non-conference, we're gonna play that game. And so, you know, I'm not. I tuned it out. Our players have tuned it out. They haven't asked me one question about it, even in passing. So it's one thing that I think I was actually really happy about that, because it kind of shows one of two things: either they really are buying into the control you can control and the want-to-know mentality, or they know that that's the answer I'm going to give them when they ask that question. So, but either way, it shows a consistency, which I'm on board with.
I know you're focused just on the football aspect of it, but from a person just on the outside looking in, are you kind of going conference realignment just in general? What are you thinking? It's like, is this something that's just it is our new reality?
Well, I don't think it's our new reality. I just think it's reality. I mean, I remember when I was at Kansas State, and when you know, all of that thing was going down, when, you know, Nebraska was going to go to the Big Ten and Missouri was leaving the SEC, and where are Texas and Oklahoma going at that point? It was a huge deal. I remember growing up and watching the end of the last Southwestern Conference football game. And then all of a sudden, the Big 8, which obviously where I grew up, it was the Big 8, and then it became the Big 12, and those sort of things. I mean, you know, I mean, so I think it's a little bit of a misnomer that, you know, we always like to think that everything is happening for the very first time. You know, it's a little bit like this pandemic. It's like, oh, these are unprecedented times, and then, you know, you look back and realize that there's basically been a pandemic every 107 years, and we just, you know, we refuse to prepare for it and acknowledge that, but that's basically what's happening. And so I think that sometimes we get a little bit so egocentric, we think everything's happening for the first time, but it's all the same. It's always been. I mean, this is just the way of the world.
Is it just one of those things too that, you know, it's either evolve or you get left behind?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think there's a lot of times when people, you know, thought that, oh, this conference is getting left behind, this conference is getting left behind, this one's making a push, and now they're this big time conference, and then you look 15 years from now and it's, you know, whatever, you know. I remember when the SEC first broke up, and, you know, in those East and West, and the West wasn't very good, and the East was where it was, and everyone complained about how unfair it was that, you know, Tennessee and Florida and they were on the same side and everything. And then when I was at Vanderbilt, all they talk about is how the West was so unfair and the East wasn't the same. So, you know, it's all cyclical.
Coach, getting Hayden a game, how beneficial is that from, you know, now that he's going to, you know, he has the bye week, gets the bye week, and now gets to start again?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, every rep you get as a player is going to help you. So obviously the game reps that Hayden got last week are going to help him be a more effective player the whole time through. Even the practice reps, he gets a few more practice reps being with the ones than before. So, you know, every rep you get is something where you get to learn from. They showed us a couple looks last week that, you know, you're not going to be able to prepare for every single look. So there's always going to be a thing where you're going to have to go back to your rules and execute. For the most part, I thought he did a nice job on that. You know, so I think that those are things that you just got to continue to do. And the other thing that I think it's very, very hard to simulate is the pocket movement. You know, and so, you know, moving in the pocket, we can simulate those and everything like that. But in order to get it exactly how it is, it's got to be live, and he's got to know he might get hit. You know, so those sort of things I think are reps that are invaluable as well.
How supportive have his teammates been since he's taken on that role?
We've got a tight team. I mean, the other quarterbacks have been great. You know, you know, DJ Mack has been incredibly supportive through this. All the guys have, and you know, just the way he was when DJ was named the starter. So we've got a tight team that wants to win football games, and they're supporting each other because they know ultimately that's the goal. Is, hey, we want to win games and play well.
Are you seeing positives from the break, just from the bye week, just mentally, physically, all of that?
I thought we got better. I really did. We were able to practice in pads last night. Usually on a Sunday we're not in pads, so that helps us, you know, get a little bit of a head start on Louisiana Tech and things like that. I thought the guys came out. I explained to them why we were practicing in pads, and instead of complaining or whatever, they were fired up, and I thought we had a very good practice with good energy. I thought we approached the special teams periods with a lot of energy and detail, and some other things. So I was really excited about how we've been practicing and how much better we got this week.
Jordan Young is closing in on a school record. How valuable is his experience and ability been on the defense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jordan was one of the very first guys I talked to when I got this job, because I knew how important he was going to be. I remember telling him then that I wanted him to be the captain. He probably thought I was crazy, since it was our first conversation with each other. So, no, it's been awesome, and it's a well-deserved thing, but it's something that his instincts, but his also ability to move efficiently and those sort of things. I mean, I'll tell you where it's really valuable is there's a lot of teach tape things that you can teach our young linebackers on what to do by how he's doing it. And I've been really, that's something that's Coach Seiler's in great shape, and he's a good athlete, but I think JY does a little bit better than he does. So it's great to be able to have him show the guys how to do it. So that's been awesome.
Anything else for Coach?
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Ready, break?
Appreciate it.
Linebacker Jordan Young, third in school history in tackles, 292, 48 away from first place. Go ahead. David, you want to start us off with Jordan?
Sure. What does the possibility of that record mean to you?
It's just it's a cool thing. It's something that I worked for this entire time. I mean, personal records don't mean a whole lot to me, but it's just cool with something with all the hard work I've put in, and then with the record leader was one of our GAs when I first got here, and just me after my first season, him telling me that he wanted me to go out and break the record was just something meaningful to me, and just kind of motivated me to continue working and just continue to get better.
How surprised were you when Coach said in your first conversation that he wanted you to be a captain?
I felt like I had worked for that opportunity, and I put myself in a place where it was definitely a possibility, and just him, it was more of him just saying that he wanted me to be here and wanted me to be a part of his program, that it meant a lot to me, and was part of my decision to want to stay at ODU and just finish out my career here and just kind of set the foundation for what Coach Rahne and his staff coming in wanted to be in the future.
How has this team been feeling with the bye week? How important was it to have the physical and mental break?
Yeah, it's the bye week is an awesome tool, and I feel like ours came at a perfect spot. It's a time for guys to reflect and just go back and watch themselves and see how they've progressed throughout the season so far. It's a time for their bodies to be able to heal and recover, and just give yourself the opportunity to step away from football for a second from the physical aspect and get your mental right and be able to prepare for the final stretch of the season.
You think that bye week came at a good time for you guys? I mean, it's pretty much halfway through the season. You can kind of charge up and get ready for this final 5 games here.
Yeah, I felt like it was perfect timing. I mean, you don't want it too early, you don't really want it too late, because your body's really worn down at that point. And I felt like we've really been able to use this week to recharge, reflect, and just prepare probably the best that we have throughout the season for Louisiana Tech.
You mentioned staying at ODU. Did you consider going elsewhere?
Not necessarily. I mean, the options were always on the table. I mean, there were other guys in our group who talked about it and obviously aren't here right now. But for me, I felt like I had set myself up for success here. I played 3 years. I graduated in the classroom and started my master's program. I really just wanted to finish here. I mean, my decision to come to ODU in the beginning was to come to a newer program and be able to put myself in the history books and be able to set records here instead of going to school and chasing people, set the standard at this school and be able to leave a foundation for other guys instead of chasing other guys at other schools.
Coach had mentioned the fact that you guys really had thought about it, but you see you're on social media, you have a cell phone, just your thoughts on potentially going to a new conference, even though you're not here, but what does that mean for guys like who are coming behind you, what's to come?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really put a whole lot of thought to that. I mean, I'm just focusing on where we're at in the season right now and just moving forward. I haven't really thought about any of that, so that's for them to talk about.
How do you guys view this game coming up with regards to, do you guys just view it as another chance to get a win, or do you view it as a chance to snap a losing streak?
Yeah, I just think it's a chance to go out there and get a win and go 1-0. I mean, that's our mentality, is to go 1-0 every day. Just every opportunity we have to go out there and play, we're thankful for that, and we just, like I said, really want to focus on that opportunity and never take anything for granted, never look past anything, just go out there and compete the hardest we can, play a full 60 minutes, and go out there and try and win.
Do you feel like you guys are close? That, yeah, obviously you are. It's just a matter of just, you feel like this is finally it with the break.
Yeah, I feel like we've been extremely close. It's really just about putting that full 60 minutes together, playing a full game, and we put together great quarters, great halves, just not a full game. And that's the thing we're really focusing on and want to hone in on with this game.
You talked about the record holder was a GA when you came here. Have you talked with him this season? Have you all been in communication?
I've had a couple messages at the start of the season. I mean, I haven't reached out yet, just getting closer, but I know he's always watching because I see his tweets on Twitter, and the other guy, Terrence Ricks, who's in second place. I've talked to him, and it's just, they're guys that motivated me when I got here and guys that I looked up to when I first got here. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity.
You mentioned wanting to come to a new program. Where else did you consider?
Well, the options I had on the table were UMass, Temple, and Georgia Southern. But I took my official visit here probably the last week before signing day, and I was kind of worn out from the official visit process, and there was a lot going on. I kind of just wanted to settle in the school and just focus on just getting ready for that college football experience. So I made my decision to come here, and the rest was history.
Was there something about the campus or the city that you liked, the area?
It was really just the feel I got from being around some of the players on the team and just being able to hang out with those guys throughout the weekend. I just felt like it was a perfect fit for me, and they really honed in on that family feel and that family aspect, and I just felt like it was a great group of guys, and they were together and just united, and that's really what kind of led to that 10-3 and that bowl season.
Does that feel, the whole process, it feel like it was 10 years ago?
It definitely feels like it was a while ago. I mean, every day I hear about how much older I am than a lot of guys on the team, so it's a cool thing. But yeah, it definitely felt like it's been a while, and like I said, I'm just taking it every day, taking it one step at a time, because when they say it goes by fast, it really does, and we're coming to the end here, but I'm enjoying every moment of it.
What does La Tech propose for you guys?
Yeah, so it's another high-tempo spread team that's really going to throw the ball, and you got a lot of athletes on their team that are good players, and like I said, it's just going to come down to us doing our job and executing at a high level. They got a lot of key players that are good. I know they're a very good team despite what their record says, and we're going to go out there and compete at a high level and just look to put together a full game.
So you were on the 10-3 team?
Yes, I redshirted that year. I was a true freshman, but I redshirted.
So you've been on a 10-3 team and a 1-11 team. Do you feel like you've seen everything in college football?
Yeah, I mean, you see both sides of the spectrum, and I've seen what it takes to be a successful team and go out there and get to a bowl game and achieve success. So I'm kind of just trying to instill those lessons into the younger guys that we have on our team, so later down the road they can still achieve that success.
You talk about reaching the end of the road and reaching the end of your college career. Have you started thinking about what's next, what's to come?
A little bit. I've thought about it. I mean, like I said, I try to enjoy the moment and just live in it and take it one day at a time. But like I said, you still have to think about that future aspect, because when it ends, it ends, and it just kind of goes on from there. So I've thought about it. I mean, whether it's training or trying to get job opportunities, the first step for me is honestly just graduation. So graduate my master's in December, and then go from there from what I want to do with either continuing football or getting a job, or honestly it just starts with where I want to live, things like that. So I'm just going to take it one day at a time, though.
Master's in what?
Sport management.
What you want to do with that?
Not sure. I mean, just having the extra year just kind of allowed me to go out there and just continue finishing classes. So I just picked a program that would honestly give me the best opportunity to finish. And with the extra year, it kind of delayed it a little bit. I had to stretch out my class load in order to still be eligible to play. So, yeah, it just gave me a lot of opportunities to stay within sport. And it's been a part of my life for 22 years now, so that's.
Anything else for Jordan? All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Funny sitting there listening to Jordan talk about 2016. I was a freshman in high school. So
That's another way to feel old, Jordan.
yeah, sorry, Jordan.
Making me feel old. Freshman in 2016?
All right, Brian, when you're ready, you want to start us off?
Yeah. How helpful and how badly needed was the break once you realized that you now had it?
I'm sorry?
In terms of the bye week, how important was it that all of a sudden, wow, we really needed this break? How
Yeah.
important and
This
how-
bye week, it came at a critical time for us. You know, like Jordan talked about, this is the start of the second half of the season for us. So we kind of needed this week to reset and, reflect on what's important to us, what we need to work on, and kind of figuring out the things necessary to help us win moving forward. So I think this bye week couldn't have come at a better time.
From a quarterback position, you feel like you've gotten your footing. I mean, it's always been there, but now you feel like, okay, cool, I'm comfortable. This is where I need to be.
Right. Yep. This extra week of preparation has been huge for all of us, and I didn't go anywhere this weekend. I ended up staying here in Norfolk, which is kind of different for me. Being from Florida, usually every chance I get, I try to go home and see my family. But this weekend, I kind of took some time to be here in the facility, reflecting on what I need to do, and kind of focusing on my role that I can fulfill to help the team win.
What sort of things did you learn during that? What sort of things did you learn about yourself, about what you think you need to be better at?
Mm-hmm. So at the beginning of the week, I took time to reflect on last week's game, the Western Kentucky game, and just kind of build on, kind of figure out what I needed to work on. What went wrong, what broke down, and kind of made a list of all right, I want to work on this and this, and how can I do so. So that was kind of the beginning of the week, and then put that game behind us, and just started focusing on the Louisiana Tech game plan and how I can implement those changes that I want to make with my practice habits and film study and doing everything I can.
Hayden, how much does it help having guys like Ali and Zach over there that have the experience, and other guys too, where I'm going to try to be as precise as possible, but if I have a little bit more margin of error maybe with these talented guys I have, I'm throwing the ball to.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of the story of Division I football. You're going to have talented players on both sides of the ball. So having playmakers like we have is really it's a nice thing as a quarterback, because my first 3 years of high school, I was at a smaller school, and I didn't necessarily have those type of weapons besides my younger brother. So having multiple weapons is important for any quarterback, and kind of as we continue to build that trust, it'll grow.
Is experience all that we think it is? I mean, will you breathe a little easier going into this game than you did maybe for Western Kentucky?
No, not necessarily. I feel the same as I did going into Western Kentucky, just as I did every week before that. Being named the starter didn't change anything for me mentally, because week to week before that I was going about things just like I was going to go out and play when the first whistle started. So the mental aspect of it hasn't really changed for me.
What's the quarterback room been like since the change was made?
It's been awesome. Like I told you guys at the beginning of the season, we've built a really strong bond. I don't even know, 5 of us, and so that bond is always going to be true. They're always real supportive. We help each other out, we encourage each other, and most importantly, we challenge each other. Whether it's at practice, whether it's in the weight room, in meetings, we're always looking to see how we can make the other person better. And so it's been awesome to have those guys be supportive and be pushing me to be better.
What are you up against in terms of Louisiana Tech?
They're a well-coached team. They're a very strong team, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of playing them. They've got a strong defensive front. Their linebackers are very talented, and they've got some experienced and talented guys in the secondary. So I'm looking forward to the challenge of playing them this week.
Jordan mentioned the fact that they're up-tempo, I guess, offensively. Are you up for that challenge, similar to Western Kentucky kind of situation, or where does that work?
Right, yeah, I think, for us offensively, we're just going to try to do our job on every play, and we will as the week progresses, just focusing on executing, our assignment on every play, not worrying about anything but, our job for whatever play is given.
They do give up 450 yards a game, I think. When you see that, does it kind of make your mouth water a little bit, that you can go to work and sling it a little bit? I know they'll give you some different looks, but when you see a team that has been susceptible to giving up all those yards, do you relish that?
No, not necessarily. They've played a variety of good teams. I know that our coaches are going to put us in the best position to succeed, so my job is to go out and trust that and, execute the plays that are given, and whatever happens, happens.
You guys have been close to winning in the last several weeks. How do you view this opportunity? Do you look at it as a chance to snap a losing streak, or is it just a chance to go out and play football again?
Right. No, like Jordan said, we're focused on, our culture revolves around the idea of going 1-0. That's, in everything that we do, whether it's practice, whether it's meetings, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's during the game. So I think, this opportunity, we're not looking at the stuff that's happened in the past. We're focused on getting a win this week, and that's all that matters to us.
You haven't been 1-0 in a while, quite frankly, and not against an FBS school in 3 years, I think. What would it mean to finally shut people up about that?
There's a lot of outside talk about our football program, and it's been like that ever since I got here in 2019. The one thing that we can control is, the mindset and the morale of our team. And I think the morale of our team right now is still high, because we know the progress we've made and we know just how close we are. So just continuing to take strides and, kind of get over that hump, get our first win, I think, it'll start to roll from there.
You've watched Jordan rack up a lot of tackles. How good is he? And have you had to go up against him in practice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jordan and I, we've been, competing against each other for years now since I got here. And being able to learn from a guy like that, even though I'm on the other side of the ball, is really important, because he has so much experience and he can offer, so many so many tips about, all right, if my eyes as a quarterback start a certain way, he can read that, or, something like that. Just little tips and reminders that he can help me with, and help me develop. It's awesome to have, someone like him who just wants to make the people around him better. So it's been really cool.
I know you guys have been focused on football, but just your thoughts of a likelihood of conference movement at the Sun Belt.
Yeah, I haven't been aware of that. I can't really comment on that. I don't, like you said, I'm kind of focused on Louisiana Tech this week, so I don't have no comment for that.
You worry about school.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of more important.
Anything else for Hayden? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Good. Perfect.